Hello, so I'm just going to do an intuitive message on the Sacred Fool card because it had basically just fallen out of my deck and was under the table. And I knew as soon as I saw it, it was a synchronicity from something that had happened earlier. So I knew I was meant to give a message about the Sacred Fool. So interestingly, I learned this week from a conversation with my brother that Jesus Christ was born on April Fool's Day on the 1st of April. How interesting is that? So I knew that Jesus was not born on the 25th of December, like we were told, like we all have collectively agreed is the truth, when actually it's a lie. Um, but we all agree it's a truth, so it's just brilliant, right? That you then to be like enlightened to the fact that it was the 1st of April, and the inversion system is created as April Fool's Day. So not only do we celebrate a lie day, Jesus Christ being born on Christmas Day when he wasn't, but we also, and we all pretend it's truth. Well, actually, a lot of us don't anymore. But it's just so interesting when you reflect back and see the programming we have been under, the mind control systems that have been used on us since birth to put us into a consciousness so low that we wouldn't even question that we just accept it. And not just accept it, but create a whole massive hurrah out of it around that time. And then on the actual day, we actually have a joke with each other and perhaps piss each other off with an April Fool. I mean, it just shows. This is why I love it sometimes when I'm looking back, and it just shows like how programmed we were. But so seeing this card, it was just like, very interesting. That's come up this week about Jesus Christ being born on the 1st of April. And what date are we now? We are approaching the 1st of April. I think the 1st of April is a really significant date. Whether we will see something happening on the world stage. Many people are saying that they're going to try another distraction technique, something to get the public, the mass consciousness focused on something over here, rather than focused on their own connection to source, finding their destiny, helping the planet to helping themselves to create the reality that they want to create. So interesting, the 1st of April is coming up. So either that, although I feel like it's not gonna be that. Maybe that is gonna happen, like because they try something. I don't know. Honestly, don't know. But I feel more the message I'm getting intuitively is that it's actually more of a signal of the fact that, as a collective, as humanity, there's enough of us now that are on the awakening journey. There's enough of us that are awake to the fact that we are souls, and are reconnecting back to source, are bringing source back in, are seeing all those programs and are no longer being affected by those programs because we're becoming immune to them, because we can see through them. They're not subconscious anymore. And don't get me wrong, there's going to be more that we've got to find within the template. But I feel like it's a turning point on the 1st of April, because enough of us have done enough work for us to really be anchoring in that new timeline. That new timeline being where we have a society that is sacred, where we value all of creation as sacred, and we no longer accept cruelty as a given and as something that is normal. And that is where we're heading. And that is being seeded in more and more. So the Sacred Fool is really a representation of an energy of rebirth. It's the zero. It's the back to the start. It's like we've come full circle. We've just completed a huge big cycle. And again, we're all talking about the fact that we are moving into a new epoch, a new age. And in that new age, We have completed the cycle of forgetfulness. We have completed the fall of consciousness, and we are ascending in consciousness. We are spiraling back to source, back to the true light, not the false light, the false matrix, all those subconscious programs that kept us in suffering, that kept us allowing evil to happen without us seeing it, and just thinking it was normal, or that we were powerless to change it, because we are not powerless. We are powerful. When we connect to source, we are powerful. And that's why all the distractions are about. So the sacred fool does not get distracted. The sacred fool is curious, is so curious about everything. Everything that is unknown, is on this journey to explore and have adventures in the unknown, to really dive in to the real fabric of life, not get pulled into all of the illusions of the false matrix. We are seeing them clearly as we move into the energy of the sacred fool that is willing to put themselves out there, willing to show up, willing to look a fool, to be humiliated. Now, I know personally for myself, my biggest fear that's always held me back in places, even though I've pushed myself forward, I've always had this fear of being humiliated. I've always had this fear that I'll say something that I believe in, or and it won't be a mass held belief, and that I'll be ridiculed for it, or I'll be shamed for it. And I know that most people have these beliefs too, and these feelings, and it's not truth that creates those within us. And I've totally forgotten my point. The sacred fool forgets things. No. So it is about, like, I guess what I was saying is the sacred fool is really playful, curious, on this adventure, is actually diving into the unknown. And that is the journey that I am on. If you're tuning into this, you are on too. And it's on an upward trajectory. And I've been feeling that upward trajectory since about October 2023, and also feeling as we moved into 2024 that obstacles are being removed, and there's loads of people in my life where I'm seeing obstacles being removed and people just moving more into a position that feels more authentic. So I'm noticing that, feeling that we're on an upward journey. Obstacles have been removed. We're now moving into that completion cycle. We're starting a new epoch. In this epoch, it's all about source, baby. It's all about the sacredness of life, and we're going to move back into what really matters, what's really important for ourselves and collectively. The reality that we are building, we have to look at our lives and be honest with how we are contributing to that reality. And it's not to shame ourselves. It's actually, we recognize that we've been massively programmed, and we've got to go through a process of transmuting those programs, and basically having an energetic bath and shower with source in order to cleanse that off us. So it's not to feel shame about the points in our life where perhaps we're not demonstrating a value of wanting to live in a world where there's no cruelty, right? I know that I have got things, clothes and stuff, that I bet if I looked hard enough into them, I'd find that there was cruelty involved. So I know this place is still for me to work on what it is that stops me from claiming that reality that keeps me locked into what I know I don't want to be a part of. So I can hold compassion and space for myself. I can be kind to myself. I can understand why and know that step by step I am dissolving those patterns and moving more and more into the alignment of that which I value and that which I want to see in my life and in the life of everybody. So the sacred fool is here. It's time to play. It's time to become mindless again.